ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to learn how to draw this peacock. We're going to do it step by step, and we're going to work on the drawing. We're going to go through it a few times, so if you mess up this first time through, don't worry, we're going to practice it a couple of times. I want you to work very slowly and carefully, and I also want you to hold your pencil very loosely in your hand, and I want you to draw very, very lightly. So don't hold your pencil really tight and press down really, really hard. I want you to hold it very, very loosely. Everybody try this for me. I want you to kind of tickle the back of your hand with your pencil very, very lightly. That's how lightly you should be pressing on your paper today. If you're really pressing down hard and you're hurting your hand, you're also going to be hurting your paper. And that means it's going to be harder for you to erase. So I want you to press very, very lightly. And that's going to mean that as you're drawing, you'll be able to erase those lines because they're going to be very, very light. And as we're working, you can erase them easily. You can make a lot of sketchy lines. So you can make changes as we're working. And also, again, remember, we're going to do this drawing several times. So if you mess up the first time through, then when we go through it the second time, you can improve. So this is how our final drawing is going to look. Set that to the side. So you have a piece of paper like this. I want you to turn it so it is horizontal. So not vertical like this, horizontal. And we're going to start out with our peacock's head. We need it to be off to the side just a little bit and up just a little bit. So kind of find the middle and come up just a little bit and over to the side. And I'm going to draw this with a pencil. I hope you'll be able to see the marks that I make. We're going to go over our drawing a little bit later with a marker or an oil pastel. But I'm going to try and do this with pencil. Hopefully you'll be able to see it so that we can make some lines that we can erase later. Okay? So once you've decided kind of where your head goes, you can sort of sketch it out with your finger a few times if you would like. We're going to make sort of an oval. Sketch it kind of lightly to begin with. We want it to be a shape kind of like that. I'm pressing a little harder than you probably need to, just to make sure that you can see what I'm doing. So we need an oval for the head of our peacock, and notice it's up and to the side from the middle. Okay? And next we're going to start on the neck. So starting from this side of our oval, I'm going to come down, curve down, around, and up, and this is the beginning of the body of our peacock, and over this way. And again, we're drawing very lightly so that we could come back and fix this if we like. I want to change the shape of that just a little bit. Look a little more like that. Okay? And then now we're going to come on the underside of the neck. Let's do the other side of the neck. Curve down. Notice it comes down wider because it becomes part of the body. Curve down and start to come up, but we're not going to go all the way to the edge of the paper because we're going to put in a wing here. Okay? So now we've got the neck and the body. And let's put part of a wing here. So right here where we stopped, let's make a curved line, comes up and around, and curves down like that. So a nice curved line right there. And then let's do the bottom, down, around, up, and down to a point down here. Okay? And peacocks have a lot of spots and shapes on them that look sort of like eyes. So let's go ahead and put a shape right here on this wing. We're going to put a circle here, and then a smaller circle inside, cut them to one side, just like that. Okay? And then let's put another shape very similar to this one. Let's put another part of a wing here. We're going to start right up here on top of this wing that we just made. We're going to make another curved line that comes up, curves over, and stops about right there. Okay? And then come over just a little bit and make another curved line that comes out to a point like that. And again, we're going to make a circle, and maybe this one's overlapped by this wing just a little bit. So I'm going to start right here. I'm going to make a little circle. And then I'm going to make a small circle inside, one of those eyes that peacocks have on their wings. And then let's make another wing shape right up here. Maybe he's got some other feathers here on his wing. So I'm going to make a shape like this. I'm going to curve up and out. But instead of making this kind of teardrop shape, I'm going to make more of a wing shape. I'm going to come back in and then curve out and then back in and then out one more time and back in. But I'm going to stop maybe about right there, a little farther in, because then I'm going to do another wing shape. I'm going to come out and do a few more wing fingers here. In, out, in, out, in. Like he's got a few feathers sticking out there. Okay? So there's our peacock's body. Let's come over here and draw in his eye. So peacock's eye looks sort of like an ellipse, like a football or like a leaf. So kind of right in the middle of his face, we're going to draw a really big eye. So do a big curved ellipse shape, the top of that ellipse. And then the bottom, down, over, and up. And then to do the inside of his eye, we're going to start out exactly the same as this first ellipse, but then we're going to come in just a little bit. So you see I started on this same line, and I'm going to come in just a little bit and make a smaller ellipse. Same thing on the bottom. I'm going to start on this same line and then come in just a little bit. And then make one more ellipse on the inside, right in the middle. That's going to be our peacock's eye. And then let's give him a beak. Right on the edge of his face here, I'm going to do a curved line. It curves down just a little bit. And the same thing on this side. It curves down just a little bit to meet that line. And then a line right in the middle so that his beak can open and close. Okay? And then peacocks on the top of their head usually have 3 feathers that come out of the top. They have some plumage that comes out of the top. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to do 3 lines that come right here out of kind of the back of his head. So I'm going to do a line that comes this way. 1, 2, and then one that curves down just a little bit. 3. And then these have sort of a teardrop shaped feather on them. So I'm going to do sort of a teardrop like that on each one. So sort of like a leaf. And they can be different sizes. They don't have to be exactly the same. And then I'm going to have a little line coming out of the end of that, each one of those. And then there's a little circle inside each one. Okay? All right, now down along this edge and up this side of our peacock, we're going to put some more teardrop shaped feathers with those eyes inside of them. So starting, let's say, about right here, we're going to put a large teardrop or leaf shaped feather. Something like that. And I'm going to put these all along this edge, and they can be different sizes, and they can overlap one another. They can come off the edge of the paper just a little bit. They can turn slightly different ways. Notice this one is coming behind that one just a little bit. Maybe this next one is turning back this way just a little bit. Maybe this next one is a little bit smaller. Maybe this one's fairly big. Maybe there's a small one right up here. And there's one turned this way right here. So I'm just filling up this space here with these teardrop shaped feathers, because peacocks have a lot of these. They use these to show off. The male peacocks have these feathers. They show off to the ladies. And I'm going to do these all the way just up to where we did our body, that curved line right there. Okay? And inside each one of these feathers, I'm going to do that circle kind of off to one side, that when we add some color to these a little bit later, we can put a different color in each of these circles, and it'll really make these feathers pop. All right. Once you've got all those feathers in, we're going to do one kind of final touch. We're going to make it look like our peacock's tail feathers are coming back behind him. We're going to fill up the rest of this space with some of his tail feathers here. So we're going to start kind of right down here, kind of near the bottom edge, right down here where our feathers start. And I'm going to do a curved line that curves up towards his face. Maybe it stops right here at his beak, and then starts again at his head, curves up here. So I just did a big curve that curved all the way around. And then I'm going to do some lines that sort of branch off, that curve off of that line, sort of like the veins of a plant. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to start on this side, and I'm going to do some curved lines that come off this way. When we add some color to this, we're going to fill this up with some nice bright colors, like his tail feathers are coming back behind him. And then on this side, you may have to kind of see where these lines can fit in between a few of these feathers we drew. You may have to carefully fit them in between some of the other things we've drawn on this side. Carefully come right up to his face. Carefully come around our plumage that we've drawn coming out of his head. Maybe a couple of these lines come over to fill up this space over here. We're going to fill up this space and all the way off the edge up here. All right, so there's the drawing of our peacock. We're going to practice drawing this a couple of times before we do our final drawing. And then we're going to go over this with some marker or oil pastel before we add some color. And it's going to be, I think, a really beautiful finished product.